Welcome, everyone, to another stimulating and invigorating podcast with Heather
and Amber
to Tool Talk. So today, our topic is going to be, are you born with it?
Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe
it's Maybelline. There's your singing.
There it is. That's it. We will incorporate it frequently throughout our little episodes, but not today. That was all of the singing that you're going to hear today.
Yes.
All right. So the being born with it, just that thought process kind of came to mind because I run, and running is hard for me. And so I think about how hard it is, and I realize I was not born to run. Besides what the song, we could go into another song, but we're not. We're holding back. You should see the looks on our faces. But I was not born to run. I have created this persona, if you will, to be a runner. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me. It's challenging for me. Probably, 10 years ago would not have been on my radar whatsoever because, a lot of people are not just born to do, and you don't have to be born to do something, but if you want it bad enough, you can make it happen.
That's right. Absolutely. You can create that opportunity, and that is what you have done.
Yes.
And we are going to give you some tips today. So we actually have 4 tips for you on creating your opportunities. So whatever it is that you think that you weren't born to do, we're going to teach you how to make it happen.
Absolutely.
And Heather is going to be our example for this because she created this opportunity. She became a runner, even though when she first started out, that's not where she was going with it.
No.
She was like, I guess I'll get out here and walk a little bit.
Right. And then, here we are. So,
yes. And now she's our fantastic running coach at the Training Tool. So the first tip on creating your opportunity when you want to do something in your life that you don't necessarily think you were born with the ability to do, number 1, you have to change your mindset.
Absolutely.
It has to be that you start feeding yourself those words that are positive and that build you up and that reminds you, yes, I am a runner.
Yes.
I am strong. I am whatever it is, insert whatever that is for you. And specifically in this example, and I love this, Heather did a workshop for people who were interested in running. And when she came in, what did you tell them, Heather?
Well, I told them, number 1, that they are runners.
Yes.
A lot of people think, and it's funny, some people want to call themselves joggers.
Yeah.
No, just don't. You run,
Yes.
So you're a runner. If you play guitar, you're a guitarist. Even if you don't play all the time or play well, you're still participating in whatever it is. And if you're a runner, it makes you an athlete.
Yes.
Yes. That took me a very long time to embrace that title. But I am an athlete.
You are.
Because I do run. And my body is going through hard times when I'm running. And it's become athletic.
And that just brought another song to my head. Portishead. Oh, gosh. Okay, sorry.
Sorry. Okay.
So that was number 1. Number 2, our second tip. Now, we're going to go into a deep dive on this one.
Oh, yeah.
You have to create a persona. So for Heather created Runner Heather. Heather was not Runner Heather.
She
did not have
Heather.
that persona.
No.
And this is big. This is something, if you are driving in the car or you're listening to us while you're running or walking or working out, however you're doing this or trying to raise your children, you are going to want to come back to this with a notepad, especially if this is something you're interested in and you want to create this opportunity. So when it comes to creating a persona, you have to build what Runner Heather is like.
Right.
So first off, Heather, go through some of the behaviors. What behaviors does Runner Heather have?
Well, Runner Heather in general has some questionable behaviors, but Runner Heather seems to be a little bit more focused, so that's a good thing. So I eat to support the run.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't eat, junk food. You can't eat a lot of sweet food. You have to eat foods that support whatever it is that you're doing. If you're doing something athletic or whatever, you need to be able, so I need to be able to eat so I can fuel my body through whatever distance that I'm trying to go.
Excellent. What else do you do, not just eating?
I also strength train to make my body stronger. I will give myself mental mercy. So a lot of times, and I guess a lot of sports, or even not sports, could, it's really a big mind game, because your body can do things, and a lot of times your mind is questioning, why would we want to? And there's really no flipping way that we're going to be able to make this happen, right? So you have to be able, and I go through so many emotions. We were talking about this before we started. The emotions that I have before a run, during a run, when I get finished with a run, I mean, it's just, and if I let myself listen to the doubting Thomas that lives in Runner Heather, then I would not be able to, I wouldn't even attempt to do half of the things that I do, because I start focusing on the I can'ts instead of, well, there's the possibility. Let's just see what happens. And that has probably carried me the most through this journey, is let's see what happens. Yeah. I also make sure that I wear the right clothes.
Yes. So what does she dress like?
Oh, Runner Heather steps way out of her comfort zone. Now, I'm certainly not one of those people who run in sports bras. And if you do that, bless your heart, you go. I feel like I need to be clothed in probably the minimal, because I don't like stuff on my shoulder. Yeah. I like to have free in the shoulders. But I have leg issues where I feel like and it's very funny, because originally when I started running, I chose running because I wanted lean runner legs. You don't get lean runner legs just from running. I'll just go tell you all that. Even from, doing, when we have done a podcast on, genetics and how our bodies are all different. And typically when you see, especially in magazines or whatever, or even in a lot of races, you'll see people and they just look like what you would associate runner legs.
Long, lean legs. You are not long and lean.
That's why I was not born to do this, right? That's where we're getting here. I was not born to run, but I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. So I will wear the shorts, the little biker shorts. I can't wear the loose shorts because I don't like the extra. I like to be secure, I guess is the best word to put it. Compressed in the lower half. Mm-hmm. So I always have big, huge mental issues with my body perception in running shorts. Mm-hmm. And I have just had to let that, because it's hot here in Florida. Yes. I ran this morning at 7 a.m. and it was 77 degrees and 98% humidity, right? So at some point you've just got to say, screw it, and I'm just going to be comfortable. Shorts. Yes. So you have to get out of that mindset where I don't feel lean in these shorts, and I don't feel like I am protruding what I feel like I should be, but it is what it is. And it's okay, because I am me. I am not somebody else, and I'm going to be the best version of me, however that looks.
Yes. So Runner Heather wears shorts and a tank top.
Yes.
With a sports bra under it, because it's hot.
Yes.
And that's what she's comfortable in.
Yes.
And also your shoes are probably running shoes, right?
My shoes are running shoes, and I change them, depending on what the distance I'm running, but I'm making sure that my feet are supported and my body is supported in the shoes. So you have to not only feel the part, I guess per se, you need to look the part. Right. Right. For safety and for your body's, good well-being and that sort of thing.
Excellent. So she has these behaviors. She has a certain outfit that she wears.
Yes.
What about Runner Heather and her alarm?
Oh, so Runner Heather does not use the snooze button under any certain terms. Now, I may turn off the alarm and sit there and think about my life choices for a few minutes, but I do not give myself the opportunity to go back to sleep, because what happens? You go back to sleep, and then when that alarm goes off again, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes later, you feel even worse than you did the first time it went off, because your body's trying to go back into that sleep state, and here it's been, stuck up. So you have to be structured to when that alarm goes off, you're going to get your butt out of bed. I don't want to. People always think, oh, you get up so early, you enjoy it. I don't enjoy it at all, ever. but I want to get up and I want to get it done, preferably before it gets too hot outside or before there's too many people out. There's a lot of factors that go into why I get up when my alarm goes off.
Right. But Runner Heather
Yes.
sets the alarm
Yes,
and
she
does not
does.
hit snooze.
No, she
and
does not.
that's Runner Heather persona right there.
Yes, absolutely.
Another thing, let's talk about behaviors. So let's say that your plan is you run on Thursday mornings, but I call you and I say, Heather, let's go out tonight. And let's just be real. Neither one of us are going to do this in the middle of the week. We're just pretending here, but let's pretend. Yes. And so I call you and we're going to have a girls' night on Wednesday night. Does Runner Heather go out for girls' night, stay out super late and drink, like 3 or 4 margaritas before running on Thursday?
Absolutely not.
No way.
No. Heather Runner still has a bedtime and she's going to stick with it. Runner Heather still has her nutritional needs that she knows that if she drinks the 3, now she may have 1 margarita and that's okay because I know how that's going to affect me the next morning. And so you just got to limit yourself and have boundaries and be willing to not cross those boundaries if it's not worth it.
Right. And then this is a big one too. This is another behavior. So we're going to go into Runner Heather's mental behaviors. So talk to me about her thoughts about her life and her run and the things that she does. Mentally, what is Runner Heather like?
So Runner Heather, obviously if you're going to do something difficult, you need to have drive. If you don't have drive, you're probably not going to continue on, because there has to be that something that is pulling you forward and then something that is pushing you in the same direction, right? And so you might want to write this down. This is a good quote here. The drive doesn't control me. I control the drive. Yeah. So I don't let it, I don't become obsessive about it. If I have a certain mileage or pace or something that I want to reach, if things are not working well for me physically, environmentally, that I know that I'm probably not going to be able to reach that goal, I'm going to be okay with it and then just Control, Alt, Delete, regroup, and try it again another day. When things, because when you're trying to do anything, especially outside, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Oh, yeah. Right? And a lot of times, especially, even hormonally for women. Oh, my goodness. Right? So there are a lot of factors that can come in to your ability to be able to do something well and you putting yourself at risk if you continue to do. So you need to have control, but you don't need to let that desire for control you. Yeah. Yeah.
And mentally, she's strong. She has that desire to do things and to be better than she was. Right. So that's...
I want to be, I choose to do these hard things because I once thought that they were not doable for me. Right. So that pushes me to do things that are a little bit harder.
Yep. Yeah. So creating that persona, you may not be that person yet, but you have to sit down. Time. Yes. Yeah, you have to sit down and map that out and think about what you want Runner Heather to be. Right. What does she look like? What does she wear? What does she do? What are her behaviors? What's her mental game?
Runner Heather's choices and behaviors. I started running like 6 years ago. The first year are way different than what Runner Heather looks like now. So you have to be able to grow with yourself and to be able to know what works and what doesn't and when to be able to say, okay, this is not really what I want to do. I'm going to focus on because I don't run unless I'm enjoying it. Now, I know that sounds weird because running is like, what's the fun of that? It's not fun, and I don't really enjoy it, but I enjoy how it makes me feel. Yeah. Because I have that mindset that we were talking about. I feel strong, right? And this is what makes me feel strong and powerful and in control.
I love that. Yeah. So that was tip number 2. Yes. Tip number 1, change your mindset. Yep. Tip number 2, create your persona. Yes. Tip number 3, now we're going to talk about guidance. Yes. So many times when you go to start something, like you said, I wasn't born a runner. You didn't really know what to do. Now, Heather started out, I know this because I know your story. She started out just walking and then walking and running intervals and things like that. But there are times where you really do need to reach out, find a coach, find a mentor, find a professional to help you, somebody experienced. Now, I'm going to give you a personal story here that I know that what Heather did. So Heather and I were in contact before she started working at the training tool. And she told me, well, we have the same hairdresser.
We
and
do.
So along the lines, we figured out that Heather was having some issues in her running early in the beginning, and she reached out to me because she thought something nutritionally was off.
Yes.
All right. And so I'm a nutrition coach. So she came in and we chatted, and what was happening is you were bonking in the middle of your runs.
I didn't have enough energy to finish.
So that's what that means, bonking, if we have any people who aren't runners out there. And she came to me, and so we kind of analyzed. She told me what she eats and what she does. And at that time, were you also eating for weight loss? Were you trying to lose weight then? No, okay, I couldn't remember.
It was just for running. Yes.
Yes, it was just for running. But as we looked at her, as I looked at her diet, and when I say diet, just meaning what you eat.
Intake,
yes, her food intake. And looking, her calories were just not where they needed to be. And she really needed some better support pre and post run. So I worked with you on that, and we got you got rid of the bonks pretty quickly. So that was good. And there are times when you need to have some professional help. You've got to get that guidance. So along with changing your mindset, with creating that persona, even if you're not that person yet, who you think that person is, also reaching out and getting guidance from someone. That's very important.
Absolutely.
Did you get guidance anywhere else in your running journey?
Well, funny you should ask, because the guidance has led me to become a nutrition coach and a personal trainer.
Yeah, right?
So, I mean, seriously, because that's exactly where this whole process started, was with the running. So, like, along the way, I thought, okay, so the strength training is super important, and being able to control that, and as well as the nutrition. And so, but I also look to other, professionals, if you will, in the running community. UF, our University of Florida, has a great sports medicine program, and they offer like workshops and stuff. So you can get a lot of information that, number one, can validate what you're doing, and then also offer options for trying something else, just to see if that works. Because like anything else, any plan that is written is not to be followed by everyone all of the time. And this is something else that we were talking about. I have recently tried running long distances without the interval walking. And it's particularly, they advise, if you want to increase your distance, you want to do it by 10%.
Yes.
Right? And so I had run 8 miles, and I wanted to run 10, and Amber's like, but you need to go 10%. And I'm like, screw it. It's like, I don't need to follow that formula, because I know my body, and I know that I had, when I finished the 8-mile run, I felt like I could do a little bit more. So within a week's time, I was able to do 10. So, knowing how to increase so once you find out, my point is, once you find out information, it is not strictly written in stone as to what you have to follow. A lot of other like running coaches and stuff want you to do hill repeats and sprints and that sort of stuff, and that speed work, and that sort. Number one, I've gotten as fast as I'm comfortable with. I know that, because again, I wasn't born. So it's funny. I was not born a gazelle, and I was not born a cheetah. I have decided that I was born to be a water buffalo. So I can go the distance and hold my own. And once the cheetahs and the gazelles, have to slow down, here Heather is still trotting along in true water buffalo style. So you've got to know what your own expectations are for what your body can do. So, you can create these things, but for me to think that I could be a cheetah, the way it's not something that I want to particularly do for myself, because then that would not be fun, right?
Yes.
And I keep going back to, I do this because it's fun and it's challenging, but I don't want to, number one, hurt myself.
No.
Or number two, try to put myself through something that I'm just going to get tired of and get bitter about it and never want to do it again. So it's good to seek out help from other professionals, but then you just take that help and incorporate it into your journey.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. And tip number 4, this
Tip
is the
number
last
4.
one.
This is important.
Yes, this is very important, is to get a support system and to surround yourself with people who encourage your growth in your persona.
Yes.
So sometimes that means that your friend group has to change.
It does. And you can have a group of friends that are your, like, whatever your persona friend, like my runner friends, and then my, other group of friends, like mom friends or whatever, would be different. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to necessarily think that your group of people have to be able to go with you. I mean, it's nice. And they'll probably want to support you, but they may not be able to give you specific encouragement that you need.
And we see this a lot of times. So let's go back to where I was asking you, would runner Heather go out with me on a girls' night, stay out late, drink 4 margaritas? If that's your typical thing that you do with your friend group, that may have to change.
Yes.
But especially if you are trying to change yourself for the better.
Right.
Some of those behaviors have to go to the wayside, or they change, as we have discussed in another podcast, you have your Mike's Hard Lemonade on the weekends, right? Yes. But you tend to run mostly during the week and on Saturday mornings, and you always rest on Sunday.
Exactly.
So you make those behaviors change to fit your new persona.
I acclimate my lifestyle to support my goals.
Yes, exactly. So 4 tips there. Change your mindset. It's got to be positive. You have to start talking yourself up.
That's right.
Create that persona. What do they wear? What do they look like? What do they sound like? What do they say to themselves? What are their behaviors? What's their mindset? Get guidance from professionals who are experienced in whatever you are trying to accomplish. And surround yourself with a wonderful, positive support system who is going to support you in your goals. So just remember, you don't have to be born with it.
No.
You can create those opportunities, and we want you to see that.
Absolutely.
Because you absolutely can do this.
That's right.
So, and sometimes changing yourself is super fun. And challenging yourself to be something that you thought that you couldn't be, and seeing yourself succeed through those challenges makes you more confident and stronger, and
it also sets you up most of the time for the people around you to go, if she can do it, I can.
Yes.
So you're sparking other opportunities and other people who also maybe thought that they weren't born to do whatever.
Yes, you absolutely can give that encouragement to other people.
Yes.
And what are we here for? What are we here for but to support each other and help each other grow to be better in life? So thanks for joining us today. We hope that you took some awesome information from this today, and definitely reach out and let us know if you like today's podcast.
We are here for you.
Have a great day, y'all.
Bye.